I hated it. I couldn't believe anybody would live in it. I mean, it was a mess.
For Kim and Tracy Stearns, renovation was never on the radar when they bought this shotgun shack in Linwood, Kansas.
We thought at first we would just live in this mess and then build our dream home up on the hill, but then once we got in there, we realized we couldn't even live in the house.
The 1920s home was rotten to the core. The kitchen was on the verge of collapse. The fireplace falling apart.
It was awful. It was disgusting.
Everything but the land.
It just had this romance to it. It's hard to find 5 acres out in western Kansas that isn't a flat field.
The renovation took 10 years, but today, Kim and Tracy have the funkiest farmhouse in Kansas. Steel took over the exterior, and a cool new loft boosted the size to 2,000 square feet.
And it was one of those deals that we wanted it to be like a cabin, we wanted it to be like a vacation home, and we felt like in order to do that, you had to build it yourself.
But first, that pitiful old kitchen had to come down.
You always see on the shows and everything where people ripped something off by hauling it with a truck or whatever. So anyhow, just for fun, we thought we'd try to get it ripped down with my tractor.
It's fair to say Kim and Tracy were radical renovators, especially when it came to building the kitchen back up. The store shop counter slid right into place, but that salvaged wine rack put up a fight.
Tracy built the wall, but he didn't build it big enough.
I thought I had correctly measured, but obviously I was off.
By about an inch.
Basically, we put a car jack at the top and a car jack at the bottom.
And then once the car jack was removed, the walls came back in and it just held it together.
Over in the family room, it was Kim who went wild with demo.
Kim was, at that time, taking karate. Actually, what was it called?
Karate. One kick and a whole wall would come down.
Every wall came down and an inspiring 20-foot arch went up.
It's holding up the roof, and it's also giving us a break between one space and the other space.
The other space is the living room, where Tracy had a busted fireplace to fix. Or at least hide.
I was too lazy to take the brick down. It's one of those deals that I'd already built the home, and I knew I didn't want to have a big hole sitting here again. So I thought, what's the simplest thing to do? And we love concrete block. These are actually blocks that, as cheap as I am, I cut a block in 2. I had it all scored, and it gave it a lot of depth, almost gave it a limestone look to it.
Meanwhile, Kim had her mojo working next door, turning an old closet into a groovy new bathroom.
We've always collected rocks from vacations, and we've collected marbles, and we've kind of collected some of these tiles from tile places that were going out of business. And I'd have a blanket down on the floor, and I'd have a blanket over them, and I'd crack them, with a hammer. It's really easy. You just glue the back of them with a heavy-duty glue, and that's it.
Which meant Kim and Tracy could finally move the renovation up the steel staircase, where by now, unconventional methods were the norm.
The appraiser said, I thought you had a 2-bedroom home. And I said, I do have a 2-bedroom home. I go, there's a bed and there's a bed.
Greenhouse plastic serves as a simple partition between the 2 bedrooms. But renovating the bathroom was one cliffhanger of a job.
It was another MacGyver move on how to get a cast iron tub up to a 2nd floor level. I waited for one weekend when I had some friends show up. We were thinking that, are we gonna get it up? Number 1. Number 2, will the boards break? And number 3, will our backs break? Once we got it here, we all gave out a big cheer.
The tub was in, and the final touch, 2 sinks, put in the middle to save on window space.
It makes you proud. Yeah, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it.
I love the crooked teeth of it. Nothing has to quite match, and it's very eclectic.
You
Come on, baby doll. Come on.
It turned out great. It's fun, and everything we do in here makes it just a little nicer.